Hello Capricorn, Capricorn Rising, and Capricorn Moon people. This is your weekly astrological and card horoscope for the week starting April 24th, 2017. And a quick reminder for you guys, remember I do have a special video on Venus's shadow period. It's a main feature video on the main channel page. You might want to check it out, as it will relate to some of the stuff that the collective is going to be going through over the next couple of weeks. And of course, if you ever want to get a session with me, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com. So what's going on with the astrology of this week ahead, Capricorn? Well, early on in the week, we do have Mercury retrograding back into Aries, into your 4th house of home and family, forming a lovely connection with Saturn retrograde in your 12th house of your past, your privacy, your hidden zone. And 2 retrogrades make a right, I always say. So, you know, some people don't dismiss a retrograde just because it's retrograde. Usually when we have these 2 planets aligned together, there's an opportunity to go back and readdress a bad call that was made on behalf of a family member or a property, estate, or, you know, home finance concern, and to have it be made right as rain. This could be something that was decided by a landlord, a relative, or possibly even something arranged around an estate, an investment, or even a real estate concern. So this could actually be really nice for those of you who are kind of struggling in that area. This could also be great news for those of you that are trying to perhaps get back on track with a long-term home business project or business plan that may have not necessarily been doing so well in recent weeks and months. This will be starting the corrective process. Later on in the week, we've got a new moon in Taurus in your 5th house of love, romance, and your relationships with your children. And this can be a wonderful new beginning for a lot of Capricorn people in love, especially for those of you who are single and looking, because this is going to basically start drawing in new people over the next 2 weeks into your life, into your life to see, into your life to, you know, to meet and entertain. This is also a great time for those of you who have been thinking about maybe trying to conceive a child, or possibly to expand your family in some other way. This is also an area that does rule creative enterprises. So whatever you're thinking about debuting, after Mercury goes direct on the 3rd of May, it may be wise to consider bringing that out for the public to see. So what's going on with your cards this week? Well, for your cards this week, we do have the card of the Initiate. And the Initiate always talks about a need to pay attention to where we need to maybe stifle what we think we know about a person or a circumstance. Because the Initiate always talks about a need to actually approach something as a beginner, and to bring on the curiosity, the healthy curiosity, that a bringer carries to the table in a situation where they're doing a lot of negotiating, where we're meeting new people, or again, giving ourselves an opportunity to get reacquainted with something, or even a person that we think we are very familiar with. The Initiate can talk about a need to be, you know, to let go of expectations as well when it comes to, again, what we think we know about the nature of a certain business or a certain individual, a certain circumstance. Because the Initiate is also saying, well, we're going to kind of also be corrected a little bit. Maybe even pleasantly proven wrong, there is such a thing. And this could actually turn out to be a very wonderful week when somebody actually changes your mind about them by doing exactly what you thought they wouldn't do, the right thing. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we do have the Emperor upright. Beautiful card for work and finances because it does look like we have some extra support coming from people in power your way. Whether this is an authority figure, a boss, or maybe even a hiring manager. In fact, this could be somebody taking a shine to you and actually deciding to use their clout, you know, their pull, their initiative to actually, you know, move mountains for you, or simply take your side in a situation where we could use that endorsement. The Emperor card upright also has an opportunity for a lot of you to be actually getting a reputational boost, possibly even being promoted into an opportunity to be a leader temporarily, to actually evolve into a leader long-term down the road. The nice thing about this is the Emperor does usually end up getting celebrated, yes, with material incentives, but also at the same time the Emperor does talk about, again, a reputational boost that lasts the test of time. So whether it's a boost to, say, get better business, or a boost to simply be able to negotiate for better benefits, that's all going to be on the table because you are going to be, whether you want to or not, thrust into a position where you are also wielding that authority. And sometimes we just have to show people what we do when we're in that situation to see that we were right for the job in the first place, you know? So it's not even taking a risk on us, it's sort of happening by default, but there are benefits in it for you. For your communications with air, when it comes to your friends, your relatives, the others in your life, we do have this Strength card reversed. Now, unfortunately, while things are going so, fine and dandy for you, the Strength card reversed can indicate a bit of an issue where a friend or a relative has decided to let their bruises, let their hurt, let their, let's just say, wounded animal come out. And usually with the Strength card reversed, we can see this as tempers flaring, possibly to the point of getting into tantrums, knocking things over, more of a shambling mess. Now, this might not necessarily be happening in your presence. You may be having to find out that this is somebody who is kind of losing it, though, when it comes to maybe everyone else in their life. And the problem is that with the Strength card reversed, I feel like normally this would be somebody you would take his or her side. Be careful not to over-identify with their situation, though, because sometimes when we over-identify with somebody going through a hard time, we kind of excuse the inexcusable. This is better for us to kind of sit down and have a talk with this person and be like, you do look crazy, or do you really want to mess this up? Talking somebody off this ledge can keep them from compromising a good thing. And sometimes with the Strength card reversed, it's the lash out that they're doing that they don't even know they're doing that's going, they're going to wake up from this tailspin and wonder what the hell happened. We can prevent it all if we simply just make sure that we stop trying to find excuses for bad behavior for them, because sometimes we do have a bias towards certain friends and relatives we like very much. For your challenge this week, nope, knocked over a bunch of cards. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Empress card upright. This card can indicate that there really is no challenge, to be perfectly frank. The Empress card honestly does indicate peace, happiness, serenity, and security, not to mention enough good and more to share coming your way, even when it shows up in a challenged position. Now, the issue I think that can happen, though, with the Empress card as a challenge is that how do we preserve this? How do we make sure that we maintain our sanctuary as the sanctuary? You obviously don't want to be welcoming the crazy in, even if we're trying to help somebody who doesn't mean to be going crazy. But the Empress card is saying maintaining that strength, maintaining that vibrational standard, that, that peace, love, and power and goodness going on in your space. We don't have to invite trouble into our space to help somebody who's in a troubled spot. And that might be a challenge, because sometimes we do accidentally, decide to compromise one thing with another, even with the best intentions. For your Earth sector, we already did that. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we do have the Two of Wands upright. Beautiful card indeed, because usually the Two of Wands does indicate some kind of plan of action being cemented with a promise that will be kept. For those of you who are looking for new love, you may actually start interacting with somebody who's very serious about, well, the same priority that you are when it comes to your love life. Because the Two of Wands upright does say that we are communicating with somebody who actually does speak our language, whether it's speaking our love language, or just speaking our social language, or the way we kind of carry ourselves. Even, a lot of people tell me I speak a language all my own. It does take a little while to get used to. So when you meet somebody who does speak your language, it is a very special thing. The Two of Wands upright, however, going back to the Pact of Promises, does indicate that somebody will be actually kind of confirming a suspicion in a good way for you, and whether you suspect this person likes you, or you suspect that this could go somewhere. Luckily, we are clearing the air with the Two of Wands upright, and that means paving the road for that new moon in Taurus energy for possible new love. For those of you who are currently coupled, the Two of Wands upright indicates that not only are we having a pact or promise made with our sweetheart, but something is being made good on or kept. And this may be something that your partner promised to do, or you promised your partner that will be fulfilled later on in the week, again as we get closer to that new moon. The Two of Wands upright says this could be an old promise, something that we kind of let go by the wayside, possibly something we thought was a fantasy, or a bit of a pipe dream. Not so much to this person. They took it very seriously and they'll let you know. So that is your horoscope, Capricorn. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you'd like to get a session, you can always follow the links below or go to integrativemysticism.com.